a 5-game and a 7-game series, which they weren't able to do last year. Okay, now they're getting a lot of buzz. This is like the 2004 year where we're playing really well, we're feeling really good about everything. Well, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Let's not take our foot off the pedal yet. Okay, they made it to the 94 win mark. They clinched the division, which over the past several years has been pretty much a close division, and or Arizona's taken it most year, or not Arizona, St. Louis Cardinals, excuse me, has taken it more times than not. Cincinnati, I think, has won over the last several years, and maybe even Milwaukee when they got hot that year with Sheets and Braun and Fielder and all those guys. But don't take your foot off the pedal. You have, 16 games left in the regular season. Continue to dominate. Continue to go out there and play your best ball. Don't let up any, because that will affect you come playoff time. If you start taking it easy now, it's going to be hard to turn it back on when the other teams who are still fighting now for playoff spot, playoff ranking, where they're going to be. They're going to go in a mode where, okay, we've been fighting, and you guys, you let back a little bit because you won your division early. You had a 17-game lead in your division, which that is astounding for having the teams that they have in their division. Just the Cardinals alone. Are you kidding me? You're 17 games up on the St. Louis Cardinals. That's why I said Arizona, everybody. I'm thinking NFL. So congratulations to the Cubs. Great historic organization. It's time for them to win again. I think that would be great for baseball. It would cement Theo Epstein, obviously, as the best executive ever in baseball, not just one of the top. If he manages to do what he did in Boston, in Chicago, and the Cubs start winning World Series, or get a World Series, he will be, going down in baseball lore with the names like Babe Ruth, in my opinion. And he's not a player. But to be able to pull that off in 2 cities, if they're successful this year, that'll be pretty impressive. And, he put on his little fake mustache and whatever to go sit in the stands the other day and watch the clinching victory. Good for him. Good for the people who didn't make too much of a scene out of it. They just, snapped some pictures and reported he was there. He deserves to be able to sit in the stands and watch the game just like everybody else. So, that's pretty cool. Go Cubs. I don't really have a baseball team, like I'd said on the show before. I like rooting for some of the old teams. I like when the Pittsburgh Pirates got good a couple years ago. They're kind of not on that same level now. I like when the Cubs are good. I like when the Red Sox are good. I unfortunately do not like the Yankees. I probably won't until the Steinbrenners sell them. I think my dislike is more about how they handle themselves and the way they go about building a team than anything else. It's just we're going to outspend everybody. And, they've won, close to 30 World Series. So, not a big Yankees fan. I like the Athletics. I like when they're good. I was a big Seattle Mariners fan as a kid. I like the White Sox when they're good because of their storied history. The Twins. I like watching the Twins play. I like watching the Kansas City Royals when they're good because, that was a team that my dad liked. So, those older teams. Locally, if the Rockies are playing good, I'll pay attention. But, I don't have a baseball team that is just like my team, not like football. Let's get back to some football stories, actually, now. Let's talk about Revis Island, Darrelle Revis. 2 games in, and right now, he just looks old. He looks like these 1-year deals are all he's ever going to be able to get. And yeah, sure, he's been in the league now, 8 or 9 years, probably. And he's served his time. He's played great. He's been great. He's, shut down one side, mostly because guys just didn't want to test him, not because he was breaking up every pass or intercepting everything that came his way. He was just a tough cover. He was right there. It was hard to make the throw that would beat him. because of his intelligence, because of his fluidity, his hip movement, the way he could break down in his back pedal and not lose very much speed to turn and run. All of those things look as to right now, if he's not suffering from some kind of injury we don't know about, it looks like Father Time has caught up with him. And J.R. Smith, he put it real good when he said that Revis Island has kind of become a timeshare at this point. Now, that's throwing a little bit of shade at him, and Revis didn't like it, and, they kind of went back and forth and whatever. But he has a point. You gave up 180 yards to A.J. Green in the first week. Now, granted, not every one of those plays did he line up against you, but when he did, he beat you, and he beat you bad. And then you got embarrassed by, a fourth receiver with speed? I mean, is Goodwin really any good at receiver? No, he's just fast. He's not a great route runner. He doesn't have the best hands. The throw Tyrod Taylor made to him was perfect. It hit him in stride. Revis was watching in the backfield and didn't have the movement anymore to stay with Goodwin. He didn't play it right, and he got torched. Did he get torched the whole game, every play? Again, no. But it's not the same Revis Island that we are accustomed to seeing right now. So we'll see how he bounces back. Again, this is a sport in football where when you get beat like that, when your name starts getting called out like that, you come back and you try and prove yourself. And I expect Revis this next, not Sunday, but not tomorrow, but this next week, to have a much better performance than we've seen from him in the first two games so far. This guy, Antonio Brown, all the buzz around him, I get it. It's a great passing offense. It's a great passing league. Let's bolster him into being the best receiver of all time because he's able to take advantage of the current rules and the way the game is played. By no means does that make Antonio Brown one of the best receivers of all time. He plays in an age now that the rules are set up for the offense. You can't be as physical with guys. With his size, had he played in a different era, he wouldn't have lasted that long. I really don't think so. Because guys would have just checked his little butt right off the line. They would have double-teamed him. They would have punished him when he came over the middle. You would have seen many more hits closer to what Burfict did to him last year at the end of the season or in the playoffs than you would this stuff with the way guys have to tackle now to avoid injuring anybody so that the money doesn't get screwed up. And they call it player safety, but football's football. You're going to get hurt. You're not going to take the injuries out of playing football. It's really about the money. It's about having your product on the field so you can capitalize on it the most. Well, with that being said, I respect the player's game. I respect Antonio Brown's game. He's definitely top 5 receiver in the league right now and arguably playing the best receiver in the league right now. Had a great game against Washington. He's been tearing it up. He's a great combination with Ben Roethlisberger. He's a great, receiver in today's game with his speed, with his route running. He's got good hands. He's not a physical guy. If you can be physical with him, you can take him out of the game. Period. He'll beat a double team. He's quick and he's fast. He'll beat a triple team. He'll find a zone to sit down in. You're not going to take him out of the game that way. You can take him out of the game with solid man-to-man or a guy over the top and being physical. Period. And sometimes he'll still rise to the occasion. Well, the other night against Washington, the NFL decided to fine him for his little dance on a great touchdown pass on 4th and 1. They went long to him. And he did his little twerk in the end zone. He had his blue cleats on. And the NFL's fining him for both things. Now, to me, it's dumb. It's stupid. It's why they're called the No Fun League. I understand there's a uniform policy. I get that. But they don't all wear the same shoes anyway. Not everybody on the field's got the same shoes on. Not everybody has the same maker of shoe on. So to fine somebody because they personalize their cleats to me is ridiculous. Now, They turn around at the same time the NFL does after fining Brown for his blue cleats and decide the players who had patriotic cleats on or cleats that supported the police, those were okay. We're not going to fine you for those cleats. That's a bunch of BS. You can't take a stance and then not take a stance at the same time in the same week. Fine one guy for one thing and another guy for something else. No, you can't do that. Either have a policy or don't. This is why people don't like Roger Goodell and the way he's doing things. After that game, Washington's new multi-million-dollar player, Josh Norman, starts getting called out. And rightfully so. He should be. In my opinion, you get paid like you the top corner, like you a shut-down guy, like you're not a system guy, like you're not a number 2, like you're not a slot corner, then you need to be on the top guy. Now, I understand the argument. The players play the defense that is played or called. They're not in charge of that. They line up where they're supposed to. Great. Play that defense. But when you're on the guy who's the number 1 guy across from you, when you're on an Antonio Brown, then you better shine more times than not with the amount of money you're getting paid. When he does come to your side, if you stay on one side, then you better shut him down. And the problem is, Josh Norman's not that guy. He never was that guy. He's a great corner in his zone defense when you got a great pass rush. And without that, he's average. Everybody wanted to jump on his back and be like, oh, he's so great because of what happened last year. Last year was his 4th year in the league. First 3 years, nobody knew the boy's name. The guy's name, excuse me. I'm not going to call him a boy. That's disrespectful. Nobody knew the guy's name. Carolina's defense pumps up at the end of last season. This was an average defense most of the year. Rise to the occasion in the playoffs. He makes some plays. He gets his name out there because he fights Odell Beckham. A few good games here and there because of the front 7. Again, he's playing zone. He's not playing man. He's able to look in the backfield and take advantage of plays because of the chaos that his guys are creating for him. And all of a sudden his stock rises and people want to pay him a lot of money. It should have told you something when Carolina, the team that he played for, didn't want to pay him that money. And took the offer back and said, no, forget it. We're not paying you franchise. That's too much money to play you. Washington jumped on it, paid him a bunch of money. Well, Washington hasn't been good in a while. I didn't think they were going to be good this year. They're proving they're not going to be all that good this year. So you got what you asked for there. All right, let's get to some of the games. Actually, I'm going to hit this topic real quick because I have mad respect for this guy. Then we'll go through the games for tomorrow, and then we'll get out of here, and I will meet with you guys tomorrow afternoon after the morning games are over. Louisville is doing a great tribute to Muhammad Ali today. If you guys don't know, Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, is from Louisville. University of Louisville will have a emblem on the field that says Ali in the shape of a butterfly, and they will also be wearing a decal on their helmets to honor the late Muhammad Ali. So Sunday morning games, we have San Francisco, Carolina, Baltimore, Cleveland, Tennessee, and my Detroit Lions. Kansas City, Houston, Miami, New England, New Orleans, and the Giants. We have Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, going to be a great game. Dallas and Washington should be good. Going into the afternoon, Tampa Bay and Arizona, Seattle and the Rams, the Colts and the Broncos here locally. Atlanta is facing Oakland. Jacksonville, San Diego. In the night game, we have Green Bay and Minnesota, which will be a great one. And Monday night, we have Philadelphia and Chicago. So a great day of football today, a great day of football tomorrow. I again want to thank Chris Rupert from thedirtcannon.com for calling in. And thedirtcannon.com is the official fantasy partner of Real Deal Sports Talk. Until next time, everybody, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. Love the fans always. And until next time, you know how we do. Just